Hi and welcome to SFG Cards and Craft. Today I'd like to show you how I did not just this card, but there's 10 cards. I'm going to call this part of my channel 10 cards no kit, and this one is going to be around unicorn cards. This is the first time I've actually used the camera microphone for doing the voiceover, so I'm hoping that it actually works out okay. Well, this is the card, the outside, and I've just put this on the inside. Now the reason for these flowers, which I thought they turned out okay actually, was because I actually made a mistake and made a little smudge there, so I thought I'll cover that with some flowers because I'd already gone so far with the card and I didn't want to actually repeat making it. So anyway, that's the inside, hugs and kisses. Now, to explain how I've actually done this card, the cardstock is actually Canson. All my cards will be Canson 185 gram cardstock. Any card that's shaped like this is going to be done with the Mama Elephant So Fancy Cuts. I think it's called So Fancy Cuts dice set. That one is just using the outside one. The clouds in the background are done with the mini stencil set from the My Favourite Things, that one there, the mini one. I don't have the big one, but I have in the past made my own stencils using my cloud dies long before this one here ever came out, or before the large one ever came out. So I've already got that one, but I prefer to use the little one, and I didn't have the dies to actually cut the little one, so that was used in the background. In fact, that's been used in the background of several of these cards. The grass has been cut with the Lawn Fawns, that one there, it's called Grassy Border, Lawn Fawn Grassy Border. I've got all the different ones, but that was the one I used. The sentiments, You and a Unicorn. Now the You has come from the, this is from Mama Elephant Butterfly Kisses. It's a fairly old stamp set, and one of my very first stamp sets I got, and in fact I used this stamp set on the very first video I ever made. And I have used it on at least one other video too, I think. So anyway, the You, it says, You and a Unicorn make the world a better place. So, and a Unicorn in brackets came from the Winter Unicorn from Lawn Fawn. And the Make the World a Better Place is from the Butterfly Kisses as well. They're just stamped in the VersaFine Onyx Black. I think I used my stamping press for those. I don't think I used a block, but you could do it either way. I do like to use the stamping press so that I can actually get a better image though. Now the jar in the background, that was using this Lawn Fawn How You Been stamp set. This is actually a relatively new one for me. I've only got this recently. But now you'll notice that the jar in the card is a lot longer than the jar in the stamp set. So what I've actually done is I put this in my stamping press, but I had to make sure that it was perfectly parallel because, as you can see, I didn't quite get it lined up properly. I don't know if you can see that. There's this tiny little bit of, not quite an overlap properly, but it's not quite lined up perfectly, but it's close enough, I think. And that's how you do it. You sort of stamp it once there with not using the lid, just the bottom part. Then you slide it up and stamp not the bottom part, but just the lid and the sides. And hopefully it joins together properly. But you've got to make sure it's perfectly straight in your, what do you call it, stamping machine. Or what I actually did was I actually stamped the top half first, and then I drew lines for the bottom half to try and line them up. And it almost worked, not quite. Now, the next thing that I actually used, for the flowers, these two here and the one that's inside, I used this stamp set here, which is a honeybee, and it's called Sweet as Honey. Just these two flowers here I used in that one. I really like the honeybee stamps though, really, really nice stamps. And of course, and the little bees that are buzzing around inside there, they're these little ones I used. No, I used both. There's one there that sort of looks like it's landed on the glass and is looking out, and then there's the other one that's sort of just buzzing. So there's those two little tiny bees. Very hard to see on the screen, but I'm hoping that you can actually see it. But if you've got that stamp set, you'll know what I mean. And last but not least, the main character in this was this little unicorn. This one cracks me up every time I look at it. It's so funny. He's looks like he's really aggravated, I should say. And I thought, well, he's in a jar with bees. Why not paint him up like a bumblebee? So this is what I've done. As you can see, I've put yellow and not quite black, but it's sort of dark grey. I used can't remember it's all these, the paintings all done with the Distress inks, but it was the grey one that I used on it, not the black. So I won't actually go into the colours because I haven't actually got those written down anyway, but really, I mean, you could use anything. I did try using the lemonade one. What was it called? Squeezed lemonade, but the yellow wasn't the right yellow. It just looked a bit wishy-washy. So I went back and I think I did the honey one, called something honey. The lid was done with the honey and the squeezed lemonade. And of course, just a couple of stamps inside, a couple of little hearts. They would have been from one of those stamp sets that I've actually shown you before. I'm not sure which one. So that is card number 1. I hope you like it. That's one of my favourites actually of these whole 10 that I've done. Okay, now on to card number 2. This one is a bit of a funny one, and it's usually the same unicorn actually. It's amazing how many times I've actually used that unicorn. It says on the front, seriously, how old? And then have a wonderful day inside. So it is a birthday card, so another birthday card. Now, the little fungus on this I've actually used is from this Hero Art set. Hero Art set called You're a Fun Guy or Fungi. And I used masks, of course, to mask out so I could stamp one behind the other. There's a little snail on there which also came from this set. There he is there. The dots on the snail, I don't know if you can actually see the dots on the snail, and also the dots on the toadstools. I've actually used the Nuvo drops for those. There's Simply White and sorry I didn't get those out. There's the green one called Apple Green, and the pink one, these are already new to me as well. I haven't used these. This is the first and only time. Oh, sorry, that's not the right one. Oh, there it is. Sorry, scratching around. The pink one is called, it's actually lilac. It looks pink to me. Called Sweet Lilac. So those are the 2 that I've used on that card there. Okay, I don't have very many of these. In fact, I've only got about 10 different, not even 10 bottles, I think. Okay, so that's for the white dots, which is the Simply White. Also, you'll notice, I don't know if you can see, but the little snail, the little like antenna on the snail, I've actually dotted on a very tiny amount of the white, Simply White, and using a pin, picking up would I actually put a little bit of the ebony black on a piece of scrap paper, just a tiny little bit, and just using a pin I just picked up the tiniest little amount and then just pricked it into the middle of the eye to make the eye with a little pupil in it for the little snail. It's probably got a shadow on it there, you probably can't see it. Yeah, you can still be able to see it there. Okay, so that's what I've done there, just with the Nuvo drops. I haven't got, as I said, I haven't got very many of those. I've only got probably about 9 bottles actually, I can see that. So anyway, there's that stamp set. The frame around the side there, that is cut out using this Mama Elephant frame tag Park Avenue. I've had this one for quite a while. I don't know that I've actually used it on any cards with videos before, but I have used it quite a lot. So that's that. Now the paper that I used around here, this was actually some paper. I picked up packets of 5 sheets. There was a couple of packets I picked up of the same paper. They were only like a couple of dollars for 5 sheets. They're on special over at our local Officeworks. So I couldn't tell you what they are or who made them, but it's really nice paper. It's got this glitter in it. The silvery part is the glitter. So I was very happy with that. Now the flowers. So apparently I've got floral bouquet in here for the sentiment. Oh, that's for the inside sentiment. Have a wonderful day. And the little snail, of course, comes from the fungi one. Fungi, I should say. Have a wonderful day. Seriously, how old? That one comes from the Moody Unicorns. So how old? Surprise. Seriously, they're how old? The rainbow comes from Avery Elle Be a Unicorn stamp set. I've got the dies for that as well. The unicorn, Moody Unicorn, I had to hand cut everything with that, so because I don't have any of the dies. They are available, but each time that I've actually been putting an order in, my order's been usually completely too high, expensive, or they haven't had it in stock, so each time I've missed out on that one. The background, yes, I think I told you I've done that with the mini cloud border again in the background. I don't think I mentioned it on the last card, but on all of these where they've got a horn, which unicorns have a horn, I've used the sparkle pens, which is these ones here. There's Jelly Roll, that's the gold, and there's the silver. Some of them I've done silver, and some of them I've done gold. And then of course I put the glossy accents on top and let it dry. And on the eyes as well I use the black glaze pen. Just a moment, I'm digging it out. The black glaze pen. And then after that's dry I use the glossy accents on the eyes as well. So that's pretty much card number 2. I hope I haven't missed anything out. The little grassy bits, that comes from the fungi set as well. That's all in there. There's the grassy bits. That's a fairly new stamp set for me. It's the first card I've actually, no, sorry, second card I've used it on, but first one for a video. So that's card number 2. Okay, this is on to card number 3. This one was probably the quickest one of all to do. It's just, I did have to use my stamping holder because these, for some reason, I don't know if they were meant to be like that, but this is the stamp set that I've used, the Altenew stamp set. It's called, I can't even see what it's called. A Splash of Colour. That's what it's called, is a Splash of Colour. I don't know if they're supposed to stamp not quite perfectly or not, but these, I've stamped them several times, probably 4 times maybe each, and you can still see some of the white come through. I had hoped that it might actually, because I've used the VersaFine Black Onyx, and I had hoped that it might have closed up the gap like it does with some of the dye inks, but it didn't. So anyway, the sentiment, we are all just trying to find some colour in this black and white world. I thought it was appropriate. And that's from the set here as well, from the Avery Elle Splash of Colour set. The little unicorn, that one has come from Craft & Kimmy. It's called Unicorns and Rainbows. But it's made by Craft & Kimmy. I'll pull out so you can see it, the labels in front. Craft & Kimmy is the name of the company that does that. That's the only one of Craft & Kimmy's stamp sets that I've actually got, mainly because I'm a bit of a unicorn lover. And I've actually was going to make one that was using a magic wand, but I never got around to actually doing that. I don't have a die set for that one, so anything that I do with those has to be hand cut. So this one here was hand cut. The rainbow, again, that one has come from, I've only got 2 sets with rainbows. One is this one here, which I'd have to hand cut, and it's smaller, and this one here, which I've actually have got the dies for. So that's why most of these cards that have a rainbow have this larger one on it. And it's also, this one here's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 bars on it, whereas this one has only 4. So this one you can actually get it a little bit closer to the real colours of the rainbow, which has 7. I don't know why manufacturers, when they do stamp sets, only put in 5 or 6, or in this case only 4 bars, when there is actually 7 colours. So anyway, now what else is there? The sentiment inside, just happy birthday, is my old favourite. I use this one so often, this Year 2, Lawn Fawn's Year 2 stamp set, just for the happy birthday. I've never used the belated part. I've only done 1 card, I think, with the turtle in it. So, but that stamp set, I've used it so many times for the happy birthday, in so many cards. It's a good size. So that's that card. There again, the horn, I used the silver Jelly Roll pen, and the glossy accents on top again. There's sparkle on the clouds here. That would have been the Spectrum Noir. I didn't pull it out, sorry. Spectrum Noir sparkle pen. Oh, there it is. No. So that's what that is. It's the Spectrum Noir sparkle pen, or the clear one. Clear sparkle pen. I thought I had that one out, but I didn't bring it out, obviously. Here's, I'm getting things spilt all over the place here. I'll have to put them out before the next one. Oh, here it is. I did bring it out. This one here, the clear one. So it's the clear sparkle pen. Now, just a little side note, if you actually have any of these sparkle pens, whether it's this one or the Wink of Stella, and it runs out of the liquid, don't throw it out, because you can actually open them up. Take this part out. I won't unscrew it, but you can unscrew that and refill the barrel with water. This is my third time, or the second time I've filled it. I filled it twice. This is its third filling, and it's still got plenty of sparkle in it. Probably after this one I won't have to refill it again, but I could probably use that for a water pen if I want to, maybe, which I've tried to do with another pen, is use the Perfect Pearls in it, but it just didn't work properly. But because this one has the glitter come through it, the Perfect Pearls probably would come through it all right. So I think I'm going to try that one when this pen's run out for the third time. Try putting some Perfect Pearls in it. I'll probably get a little bit of sparkle come through still as well, so that wouldn't worry me. So that's what I use. And anywhere where I've actually done, which none of these cards so far I don't think have had embossing on them, but I've always used my, which is new for me again, this EK Success powder tool. And it's got a lovely smell with it. The powder inside has got a lovely smell. It's like very florally. So I'll just smell it now. I can smell it wafting around. So that's pretty much it for the third card. I don't think I've forgotten anything. So on to the next one. Okay, I'm back again. This is card number 4. For card number 4, I used for the box, to make the box, I've used the Honeybee stamp set. It's called Celebration Box. There again, I've done that same trick again, trying to extend it, because you can see the length of the box is much different here, much longer than it is here. So I've had to do the same thing by stamping one half, then moving it and stamping the other half. So that's what I've done there to make the box, and I've hand cut that. I don't have the dies yet for that, or even I would have to have hand cut that one anyway, because the box was much larger than what what the die would have been. So that's what I've used there. Now the sentiment that goes around this here, I thought that was quite a good size sentiment, so I've used that one. It's this one here. Just wanted to say thank you, and this is from Stampendous. I don't even know if it's called Circular Messages. It's called Circular Messages. So that's the stamp pen. It's got all these different circular. It's got a cute little butterfly in it there, and I've stamped that one up here. I haven't coloured that one, and I don't know why. I just wanted to do it. Very plain card. Now the unicorn in this one is from the same set, and there's this little guy down here, this little toothy guy. He's happy. So this is actually a slider. So what would a 10 card no stamp kit be without having a slider card? So that's my slider card. It runs really freely. Now to make that slider, I've actually die cut a little circle using this Lawn Fawn die set. This is actually a die set which goes with a stamp set called Owen's ABC. Now I don't have the Owen's ABC stamp set, but I did get this, so I could just purely to cut little circles out. Now what I actually used also, if I can find them, there's a little oval, which I should have had them out, a little oval sort of shaped plastic bit thing. Oh, here it is. These little things here. Now I don't know if these are my favourite things ones or what. I just got these generically. They came in this bag, so I don't know whether they're actually a true my favourite things or what, or if they're just a cheap generic thing. But they were only a couple of dollars for like 20 of them in a bag, so they're quite cheap. Now, if you actually do happen to use these ones and you do get the same ones that I got, maybe maybe they are my favourite things, I don't know. But just be very careful. They have got like a little sticky, like a little protection thing on the, I don't know, they all don't seem to have it, but some of them have like a little plastic protection thing. This one has got it, but I don't know if it's going to come off. And if you try gluing it down with that on, it probably won't hold in place. It's there. I can't get it off. Oh, there we go. It's this little plastic piece. So you've got to be aware that that's there. It's coming off. I don't know if you can see it. Little tiny plastic piece that covers the outside. It's actually on both sides if it's still on there. Some of mine, they've fallen off on their own, and here's me trying to get them off and they weren't even on there. They should have really done them with a coloured plastic if they're going to do that, so you can see that it's there. But anyway, that's what I used to cut the disc with that, used that there in the slider, and just stuck it to a piece of it's watercolour paper as well, and I've got a smudge on it. So and that's all it is, and just used a tape, which is this tape here that I've used, which is quite thick. I think it's about maybe 2.5 millimeters, perhaps even 3 millimeters thick. It's not very wide, it's only about a 1/2 inch wide, but it works well. It was only a cheap one that I got, so, and it does the job. Unfortunately, I couldn't get it in white, I could only get it in black, but it works okay. So that's the card. Cute. Oh, the balloons. The balloons are actually, I think I did bring them out. This one here. Impression Obsession balloons. There's no name on this one, it's just called Die 359R. I don't know if you can see that, just written there. And that's, I just use this medium sized balloon. I've used that one most of the time. I have used the small one and I've used the big one, but I usually use the medium sized one. Very rarely use the strings with it because I prefer to actually put my own nylon on it or cotton on it. So that's what I've used there, and I think that's pretty much it for card number 4. Oh, sorry. Forgetting the main attraction. This die set here, this is what I actually bought recently, mainly to do this card with, because I never had a slider die set. It does come with these little discs, but I use these other ones because these ones are slightly larger and I thought they'd be better. Because these ones here aren't much bigger than the track itself, and I thought, oh, it just might fall out. So I decided I'd make my own with these ones here. So, but that's the die set that I used. The little pull tab, which I'd forgotten to tell you, came from this Lawn Fawn set called Push Here. Lawn Fawn set. I didn't show you the inside. This is because it says just wanted to say a big thank you. So inside I've got a big thank you, and that was actually done using this Modern Alphas. I've got this dies for that one. In fact, I actually had the dies long before I got the stamps. I've only got the stamps in the last couple of months, but the dies, I had no idea because no one around actually sold the stamps, and it wasn't until I don't even know when, but I actually found out that the stamp sets are available. So I asked one of my suppliers if they could order them in for me. So they ordered them in, and I only just got them probably within the last couple of months. But I have had the dies for quite some time. I like the dies. I like the stamps. They're a good size. Not too big, not too small. And of course, the card itself, I used, this is only newish for me as well. I used these, it's called Creative Dies. It's a wonky stitch collection. I've actually got the square, a rectangle, a circle, hexagonal. I've also got a tags one. And they're all really reasonably priced as well, but all these ones here, this is like a 5 by 5 inch or whatever, really big. So, but the only problem is I had to make my own envelope, so that's what I had to do. I made my own envelope for this one using my envelope maker. My can't remember the name of it, but I used my, oh, here it is here. This one here, punch board. We Are Memory Keepers punch board. I used that to make the envelope for that one. And of course, that one doesn't work. Sorry, it wasn't used. So that's pretty much it for card number 4. And we'll go to card number 5.